Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. Today we are joined by Justin Barber, Director of Business Development at BC Group, and he is live from our MD Expo in Dallas, but more about that in a minute. Now, Webinar Wednesday, we would like to thank our sponsor, BC Group. BC Group International is a biomedical test equipment manufacturer and distributor for over 75 brands of products. Its flagship brand is BC Biomedical. Now, BC Group sells direct and through distributors, both domestically and internationally, and provides equipment to medical device manufacturers, independent service companies, and hospital biomedical and clinical engineering departments. So for more information, please visit bcgroupstore.com. Okay, today's webinar, as usual, is eligible for 1 CE credit from the ACI, and you can obtain your CE certificate by completing the post-webinar survey, which will be emailed 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1 CE credit, and you'll be able to download the certificate directly from your computer once the survey is submitted. If you have any questions, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Let's kick off today's webinar by giving away a SwissForce Meister multi-tool. So using the questions feature on your dashboard, let me know the answer to the following trivia question. November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. So what color ribbon has become the universal symbol of pancreatic cancer? I'll reveal the answer and our winner at the end of the webinar. We'll be wrapping up today's presentation with a live Q&A, so please submit your questions anytime using the questions feature on the dashboard. As I mentioned earlier, our presenter today is Justin Barber. So Justin, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Fantastic. All right. Can everybody hear me? Everybody see me? Hopefully. So first off, we are live here at MD Expo. So I know I normally don't, if I talk really loud and whatnot, part of it is because my voice is disappearing. MD Expo this year is phenomenal. There's over 1,000 people that have showed up. In fact, show you guys a little bit about what's going on over here. So we have a lot of people here. Yesterday, you couldn't even walk down these halls. It was so busy. And we had a whole bunch of people there, a bunch of young people and whatnot, and they were learning about test equipment. I love it when people are excited to learn. And my voice is almost shot, so I apologize for that, guys. However, today, we're going to be learning not only about automating your testing, we're going to be learning about the process of documenting those tests, because it does nobody any good to create a process that is vague. All right, we're talking about specificity and documenting things down to a detail that you could give that process to almost anybody, and they will be able to carry it out to your specifications. Okay, so we're going to go over that today. And in fact, we have some surprise announcements. We've been working on a lot of stuff that I'm going to tell you guys about at the very end of this. Okay, now at any time during this process, if you guys have questions, I want you to go ahead and interrupt me right here and let's talk about it. Okay, because anything I go over, if I go over it too fast, it does nobody any good. All right, so go ahead and interrupt if you have to. If you have questions, let's go ahead and ask them. And I have this camera that is eerily going to be following me around, and it's phenomenal. We're going to do this live right here. Okay, so I'm going to switch this around, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about when I'm talking about automating your processes. Okay, and I take it that you guys can probably see that. Yes, good. Okay, so we have a software suite called My BC Connect, and what it allows you to do is take Bluetooth and talk directly to your device from a tablet or a phone and grab that data, assemble it into a report, and you can either close those work orders out if you have the Pro package, or if you have the Plus package, which has a lot of functionality, you can generate a PDF and it will go ahead and be available for you to attach to your work orders and close those work orders. All right, and that all starts from right here in My BC Connect. Now, I've done some videos over this before, but we're constantly improving this process and this program. So guys, we'll talk about it again right now. So the way that this works is we import our assets into our database, and those assets will come in here, and that's where you will assign a test to an asset directly. So like right here, I have flow meter demo. It's attached to a ventilator. And that's how the process works. So we, during the initial setup, we allow you to import the data and it'll create your asset list. And once you have your asset list, then you'll go through and you will determine what type of tests you're going to do for each one of those assets. All right. And the automation is based on a model. So a certain model, you should be testing the exact same way across the board. Okay. And from here, you can see we have our asset tags, our device types, the serial number, you know, all the standard stuff, except over here, you'll see that it has a sequence name. That's what's automatically, it's already attached to that device, all right? So let's go back to the main screen. That was our assets tab. Then we have our test records. So this is gonna be your historical data, all your tests. You can go in here, you can pull it up. We have a cloud server, and these tests, you can pull this up at any time at your leisure, and you can also group them together to create a group report based on your search criteria. Now, I would like to get rid of this window and show that to you guys. How about that? How about that? Okay, so over here, we have a search box, and you can search for any type of criteria you want. Maybe a model name, maybe a specific serial number or an asset tag, and you can pull up those reports. Notice how we have red, that shows that that test has failed. We have green, that shows it's passed, or the yellow down here, which is the most important, those are the incomplete tests. Now this is where this whole system really comes to fruition, is that let's say halfway through a test, you get called to a different department, or you have to close up shop for the day. When you scan that asset tag, it will look to see if there's any incomplete data like this one right here. And if you have incomplete data, it will ask you if you'd like to resume where you left off or to start a whole new test. And that's pretty cool because some of these PMs take an hour, hour and a half. And if you could start halfway through and immediately it configures your test equipment to exactly how you left it, and you're up and running within minutes. Pretty neat stuff, guys. I absolutely love the way test equipment's headed nowadays. All right, let's go ahead and switch this guy over. So I'm sorry if I keep moving stuff around. This little box is floating around on my screen and it just is there, okay? Let's see, maybe I can hide the control panel. How about that? Perfect, thank you. All right, so that would be our test record section. Next, we're gonna go into our users. So the way that My BC Connect works is you purchase a certain license. We have 3 different levels. We have Basic, Plus, and Pro. And the Basic allows you to come in and update your firmware, and it really just allows you to see what's going on with your test equipment. We're also working on additional functionality with that to allow you to submit maybe work orders for your device and stuff. But it's really a basic level to update your firmware on your test equipment. You can do that yourself. You don't have to ship it in to us for a depot. You can update your firmware right there yourself with the USB cable. With the Plus package, this is where all the magic starts happening. With the Plus, you have auto sequences, so you can see we have a library of auto sequences already up from other users around the world. They can select whether or not they want to share their test sequences with the world. And if you are looking for a specific model, you can go in and you can search for it, of course, and you can pull those up and then click and download those and make them your own. That's a very important piece because whenever you download any test whatsoever, you're assuming liability for that test, which means you have to go through and verify each and every setting that somebody else chose. Okay, so that's going to be your test after that. You're going to rename it. In fact, I will show you what that looks like right now. So we could make a copy of the test if I like that particular one. And that one is actually not going to be on this page. Once you copy it, then you can go in and click on edit. You're going to change the name of the test. I'm going to change this one to test number 2, right? And then you can go in and start editing your test. And we're going to go into this in a little bit of detail. That's what we're doing today. I'm going to teach you guys how to correctly document your processes because it's extremely vital. Some people like documenting their processes from a really high elevation. In other words, like connect the device to the ESU, but in doing so, what port do you connect it to? What jig do you use? What settings do you use? Instead of just saying generically, connect this to that, show us. Because we always have to think that the next person doing the test is going to be a biomed one or a person that is inexperienced. That's the way I design all my tests. So once I save that test, we can go back into auto sequences and that one will be always available right here. Okay. So that's the one unique thing that we are doing that hasn't been done before is we're allowing people to share their tests around the world. And let's say you're a biomed one out in the middle of nowhere, not very experienced, and you want a jumping off point for your PM program. You can go in, take a look at maybe this warming cabinet right here. If you've never tested a warming cabinet before, you go in and you make a copy of somebody else's sequence, and then you download it, you edit it according to your specs of what you want, maybe the model specific of that warming cabinet, and then go forth and actually do the test. So what happens is once you complete a test here, then you'll go in on the MyBC mobile app, which I'd like to show with you guys, but we're in extremely limited capabilities because we're doing this live right here, right now at MD Expo. But I'm gonna be presenting more videos on the relationship between the app, which is on your mobile phone or your tablet, and the desktop right here where we actually edit the auto sequences. I'll be showing you guys all that on other videos. And I've done other presentations on it as well. You can find them on YouTube. But also, if you guys have questions, stop me at any time, okay? I will show you details on any of this. Okay, so we can edit the users. I said before that we have licenses. We do not license our software per user. It's one license, and you can have 20 different users for that one license. But what that means is only one person can be logged in and using the service at a time. So if you have 10 technicians in your facility, I already recommend at least half those people should have licenses. So 10 technicians, at least 5 licenses. That way there, people are not waiting for other people to log off. And if anything, if you have a high-speed group of technicians, get a full fleet. If you got 30 technicians, get 30 licenses. By all means, because you want those guys out there pounding cement and closing work orders, right? That's where their efficiency is. So our auto sequences, let's go ahead and go in and take a look at that because that's what we're here for today. We're going to learn how to create some tests. So I've got some mock ones set up here that we can go through. One of the things I always do when I start with a test is I start with an electrical safety. And we can build that out from scratch, or we can copy it from another device. And in fact, let's try this warming cabinet right here. Okay, mains voltage. Okay, so this one's it's already got an electrical safety built into it. Now this is my demo account, and this one here doesn't have all the fancy features and stuff that you guys would see. We purposely limit this so in case somebody comes in, they want to sit down and play around with the system. You know, they're not affecting anybody's data or whatnot. So this is extremely limited in scope because normally I have a bunch of other auto sequences that are already available for download. And this one here is more so for people to sit down, get a feel for the software, and make their own. But let's say we're going to develop electrical safety. This is my first one. I click over here on electrical safety analyzer right here. The SA2600 or a generic, if you have the SA2600 electrical safety analyzer, it has built-in automation for doing electrical safeties, but it doesn't have the ability to generate beautiful reports and close your work orders. That's where the software MyBC Connect comes into play. So if I have an SA2600, I just select it. Then you come over here, maybe you give some test instructions. And in this case, I wrote in the test instruction, check cords for damage. Or, you know, you can write in further test instructions, like make sure device is plugged into red outlet or blue outlet or something like that. You can be very specific. And also, we can attach images. We're going to get to that in just a minute. because images is where the magic happens when it comes to testing. You can give people written instructions all you want, but you give them one image that clearly defines the task that you want them to complete, and it will allow people to do a lot of things that they weren't previously available to do. You can show them what port you want things plugged into, what cable or jig they're supposed to use. I love the fact that we can upload images. So right here, we have mains voltage, target, let's try 120 volts, limit type, let's do 90, right? And let's do -2 for the limit, 2, type, limit, value, 5. There you guys. Left clicking on my mouse pad, and I don't like that. Okay, upper limit, value, lower limit, 5, limit type. Okay, so in this case right here, we should see 120 volts, but you can see that as long as our automated electrical safety analyzer falls between 115 volts and 125 volts, you will get a passing condition on the step, all right? And this is where the magic is. You can adjust your values. You set limits. You can either do it by a percentage, or you can do it by a specific value. And I myself, I love specific values, because percentages, sometimes I like to be a little more stringent than the percentage. Like ESUs and stuff, they say plus or minus like 20%. That's a lot. Let's just put it plus or minus like 20 watts or 10 watts, you know? You can always go more strict than the OEM standard. And down here is where we set up our test equipment. So you can select what type of load you want, AMI, IEC, and then you select what you want with all the buttons on the front of your electrical safety meter. You can see forward polarity, I'm closing all the relays, and this comes into play later. You know how we have to open ground and then close ground for leakage and stuff? This is where you would build that out. Device current, one of my favorite things to do with electrical safety meter, and you can set the device current. Now, if I have a, let's say I have a warming cabinet and it's not supposed to exceed 12 amps. Sometimes they do. Maybe the fans are failing or motors are failing, and in that case, they're going to exceed your amperage. Here's where you can type that in. So 12 amps, and set that as a specific value. And let's see, let's do 2 amps. 2 amps. So here you go. When it does device current, as long as it falls between 10 amps and 14 amps, you're good. We're not popping that 15 amp breaker yet. All right, good stuff. And down here, we've configured it, closed for all the leads, resistance. Okay, you get it? Some of this is going to be already built out, but we're doing it for you guys this time. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other devices that we can go ahead and do automation testing on. Electrical safety is the most abundant thing that we do is biomeds. You can automate those and it collects it. And in many cases, they'll close those work orders for you if you have the Pro package. Now, we have defibrillator analyzer. One of my favorite things to automate is defibrillators, because believe it or not, technicians will test defibrillators completely differently, even if they're following the same checklist. We can negate that, and I'm going to show you guys, because we're going to go into a sample test where I show you some of my documentation for doing a defibrillator test. Okay, so here you go. You can see I've included an image, and I showed items that I want people to look for when they walk up to this defibrillator. Here it says check printer. That means I'm probably out of paper, right? And look at this little light down here. If you've got a service light on the front of your defibrillator, why even complete any other steps when it comes to this PM procedure? Save yourself the time. And most technicians, believe it or not, they might save that step until the energy discharge or something. They're like, oh, it's not working, because they didn't know to look for it in the first place. Now, I also give further instructions, which is super neat. Save yourself the hassle. Up here in my test instructions, I say notify nursing staff that you're doing testing on the defibrillator. Document the condition of the defibrillator. This is vital. I don't know about you guys, but anybody that has walked down like an ICU or nursing hallway and you walk up to the defibrillator and you do a practice discharge, without notifying the nursing staff, they come running when they hear that that defibrillator is charging up. It's just the way it is. So we've all made that mistake one way or the other. So I put the instructions right here. So when that technician starts this test, they know, go notify nursing that, hey, you're going to be testing the defibrillator. Ignore any of the sounds that you're going to be hearing. All right. That's super cool that we can have that kind of documentation. Now, this is a checklist. So these are going to be pass or fail conditions. Check for service light. Check the ECG pads. Check the battery status. You guys know this is all standard stuff, but believe it or not, if you're an experienced technician, you're going to automatically be doing this kind of stuff. But again, we're documenting to the level that anybody can start this process and do a defib PM. Now, this automation process right here that I'm showing you guys, I actually, at these trade shows, come on up sometime and I'll hand you my tablet and I'll have you do this test yourself. Because I have students and stuff that have never even touched one of these defibs. They will go through, follow it step by step, and start doing these defib procedures, even though they have never touched the defib before as a student. So pretty crazy stuff, guys. Technology is a wonderful thing. Let's utilize it for the tool it is. So this is my walk-up checklist. Now I have a walk-away checklist. So let's say you're done testing all your stuff, and I don't have it here because this is just my 5-minute demo, but I have a walk-away checklist. That is, make sure the defib's plugged into a rev outlet, make sure your cables are stowed, in which I have a photo just like this that shows you how I want the cables stored in the go bag. Make sure that you apply the PM tags. All these are going to be checklist items like this, okay? Again, document it to the level that they have to just follow step by step. Read the instructions, follow the step. Next step, follow the instructions, then the next, okay? So that's my walk-up checklist. Here we go through a standard electrical safety. You can see the steps. I already have my limit set. Device current, just the same. ECG simulation. Notice how I have a picture right here, and I have an arrow pointing to the pole. Now, the way that you create a test is you document with a senior level technician as they're doing the PM, and have somebody taking photos step by step as they're doing it. And I have these photos stashed like here. And don't be afraid to use your finger or whatever and point out the point in the test that you're talking about. Like in this photo right here, I'm pointing to the fact that I want them to plug in the cables to these ports in the middle of the defib analyzer. If you just say plug into the pacing ports, you're going to have your junior level technician looking all over this analyzer for pacing ports, or they're going to leave them plugged into the standard defib energy ports. This eliminates all the confusion. In fact, I'll show you, we'll do it one better. Let's go ahead and scale this image. There's no reason to have an image this big, folks. We can scale it down. Mind you, I'm just in Microsoft Paint. This isn't like Adobe Lightroom or anything. This is Microsoft Paint. Watch how easy this is. So we do this. I'm going to grab the red. Let's do a circle, and let's go ahead and adjust the lines. Let's make them big, all right? Draw a circle right here. And let's say in this step, I'm also telling the technician I want them to plug in the ECG leads. So I got that arrow right there. So during the test, if my checklist says plug into the pacing ports and attach your 3-lead ECG to the ports, this photo right here should be good enough documentation to show them exactly what I want them to do. Okay, exit that. And yes, of course we're going to save it. Let's take a look at some other photos. So let's say during my PM process, there's a specific part that I want them to include. In this photo right here, I have one of such parts. And again, the photo does not need to be this big, guys. This is only for a reference. So let's change the sizing of this one down to 40%. And this is a good image to include in a testing procedure. If you were to say, when you test this bed, make sure you test this board, I'd take a photo of the board, show them right here, maybe even include one of those magical little arrows. Guys, I love arrows. I feel like the Bob Ross of testing procedures. Let's install a magical arrow right here because that's the port that I want them to test, and then save it. And then when we go back into the software, we then attach the photo here in the testing procedure for that step that they're going to be working on. Now I have some other photos here. Let's say there's a certain test device that you want them to do this test with. Or let's say they don't have a BC product. You have also one of the other manufacturers. Here's the good thing is, yes, you could include pictures of the BC, but mind you, BC products automatically will adjust themselves. That's why it's automation testing. But if you have a day trend or fluke or something like that, what we can do is we can show you, take a screenshot of the menu that they are supposed to be in order to do the same test on that fluke or day trend analyzer. That's really cool. Let's see, we're at 30%. Okay, let's say I want them to do a MAS check on an x-ray or something. I would show them, this is the meter I want you to use right here, and attach it to that step in the work order. So don't be afraid to take pictures of specific test equipment you want them to use. I love photos of ports, these ones right here. If it's Massimo, circle that Massimo or draw a big arrow there. If I say plug in the ECG cable, right here, draw a big circle and say, you know, this is the ECG cable I'm talking about. Again, we're documenting to a very specific level. Here's one of the other cool things, guys. I don't know about you, but there's nothing more irritating than when you have technicians that apply PM tags anywhere on their device. If you are as specific of a technician as me, I like all my guys to place the PM tags right here, front and center. Let's make it obvious to our users, because part of their inspection process is also that they should be checking the PM tags to make sure that their PM is current. Stuff happens, right? So we always want the user to be aware of the PM. I don't hide PM tags, guys. I make them nice and apparent. And in our MyBC mobile app, you can print your PM tags. In fact, this right here is an example of one of those tags. Here is the barcode. This barcode, it's just a demo, but in MyBC mobile, I would scan that barcode right there, and it loads the automated procedure that I have assigned to this defib. It's really swift when you see it working. So right here's the PM tag. I want my technicians to place this PM tag right here. And I will attach that right here in my walk away checklist. When I say affix PM tag to the medical device, I'll include that photo, that specific photo. That's where I want you to put the tag, right there. Right? That's the level of documentation that I would love for you guys to start applying to your PM program. Go ahead, make it super obvious. That way there, you can use this as a training tool, not just a documentation tool. A lot of people think automated testing is just to improve technician efficiency. This is a way that you can ensure the quality of your technician's testing. It's a training tool. So you sit there with your technician as they're going through the automated test, step by step, and then you allow them to do the test without your observation and see how they did. And here's one of the coolest things I haven't even told you guys thus far, right? When your technicians are using MyBC Connect, you can see what step of the test they're currently working on. So let's say Justin right here, he's on the other side of my medical campus. He's logged in and he's working on this defib and he's on step 0. Well, if I come back an hour later and he's still on step 0, that means that he's probably in a little bit of a bind. I'll probably give Justin a call because I can see. Now this might seem like it's a micromanagement tool, but it's a management tool. It allows me to see what my technicians are doing, who's logged into the system, and what they're currently working on without me having to hassle and bother. It's a cool little extra feature that our programmers have put into the system, and I kind of dig it myself. So anyway, guys, that's what I expect out of photos that you attach for your testing procedures. Let's go ahead and save it. I'm proud of my Microsoft Paint work right there. let's go ahead and let's take a look at all the different types of medical devices that we can test through automated testing. So let's go ahead and create a whole new sequence right here, and let's go right from the top. Message to the user. You can give a message to the technician like, this device is under contract, do not adjust anything, etc. You can give them that warning or that prompt as soon as they scan that barcode, it'll pop up. The next one, user checklist. We already went over checklists. Checklists are vital pieces of this program. They instruct your technician on micro steps of a process. We have manual custom measurement. This is a cool one. We can add temperature checks. You can add maybe steps like a heater. You know, if you got a heater that has multiple chambers or something, we can add manual custom measurements over here. And we just talk about what type of measurement it is. It's a temperature. Temperature, target 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And then obviously, again, label your testing. Temperature check in Fahrenheit. And I like to give my technicians extra instructions like test using X-Tech temperature monitor. Okay, so I can tell my technicians exactly what, yeah, thank you for correcting me. Look at that. It even catches my lack of capitalization. So I want my technicians to use this jig for this type of test equipment. And right here is where I set my parameters. And we can set the percentage or value, lower limit. Let's do plus or minus 2 degrees, right? A lot of things with temperature are very specific. As long as I type in, when I do the test, a number between 118 and 122 degrees, you can see right here, here's some of the samples, but we're not gonna do that. We're in degrees Fahrenheit. Degrees Fahrenheit. No, I'm not gonna spell it Fahrenheit. I'd be setting myself up for failure. And here's the best part, we can add another one. So now, let's say I'm doing an RPM check. Maybe this magical treadmill is also got a temperature for some weird reason. Okay, we got an RPM check. We're looking for 6 mph. We're gonna do a specific level, and we need plus or minus 1. At 11, Jesus, that's fast. Okay, 1. So as long as my speed of my treadmill is between 5 and 7 miles per hour, H, this is Reg F. Okay, very important. Type in your units. It's extremely important in medical, right? Because it could be miles per hour on some treadmills. It could be kilometers per hour. It could be degrees Fahrenheit. Could be degrees C, right? It's just the way it is. So make sure you document appropriately. And we can do custom ranking. Now, custom ranking, this here is going to be subjective. It allows you to type in a scale. Like, let's say you were taking an analysis of wear and tear on a device, or maybe a device has a useful life expectancy. And you can give it a scale that helps you as a technician figure out how much more life is left in a device. And right here's where we type in those results. Defib analyzers. Defib analyzers are amazing because there's so many intricacies. I highly recommend people go into automation when it comes to defibs. Here's one that I really want to talk with you guys about. For this webinar, I'm announcing it, even though people might not want me to. We are doing ESU automation. ESU automation, folks. That means, I know we've had ESU automation on our ESU analyzers for years, which means it'll walk you step by step through a process. However, now it allows you to automatically take those results and import those to your work orders and close those work orders in a nice, neat format. It's super cool. Guys, we're very proud of this. It's something that's coming up. It's going to be hot news for 2026 ESU automation. And I'm going to do a time analysis in which I'm going to take an experienced technician and a very general technician. We're going to line them up side by side, and they're going to follow step by step on ESU analysis. So that means that they're going to tell them what jig you're going to need, what port you have to plug it into. In fact, let me show you some of the cool features for ESU. We currently are working for the 2400 and the 2400H, and we can do energy measurements with this one right here. And here's the cool thing. Different brands of ESUs have different types of measurements. And you can take one measurement like watts and convert it into something like millivolts. You can do those kind of measurements with a calculator. You can do crest factor and stuff, but we can actually add those in here exactly as it is in the service manual. So right here we have milliamps RMS. Again, you set the target, you type in the percentage or the value that you're looking for, and when they're doing the testing and the ESU analyzer automatically grabs those results, then it will give you a pass or fail condition. And then you press on from there. It's the coolest thing, guys. And here's the other thing about our ESU analyzers. I want you to take a look right up here. This little multifunction port that's right up here in the corner, that one right there, that's a foot switch output, which means you hook it up to our analyzer, and through the power of automation, it will automatically activate it. It will analyze whether or not it's within specs that you have set, and it will give you a pass or fail condition. And then it will say, proceed to the next step, to which you just click the blue button and you go to step 2. And maybe from there, it tells you, okay, plug it now into monopolar port 2. And it automatically will set your ohms for your load. And it will automatically, let's say for your REM, it will set your ohms load internally, and it will walk you through, did it alarm, did alarm, did alarm. And when it finally alarms, that's when it'll give you a pass or fail condition. We can do it automatically. And guys, I'm so excited for this one thing, because if there's one thing that's going to change the game, it's ESU automation. All right, so you've seen it here first. This wasn't supposed to be on this menu, but I asked them to please make it active so I can show you guys. Super excited about this one. Upload step images. If you have something plugged into a specific port on the ESU, you attach that photo right here. That way there it guides the user into what to do next. And then down here is when all the magic happens. We set up our test equipment, internal load. Of course, this is stuff that is really tough for junior technicians to know. Am I supposed to test it at 50 ohms or 100 ohms? You can set it up right here. Input mode, continuous, pulse, delayed. We got isolated and ground for input type. Load mode, we have internal, we have external, because BC Group is also known for selling their external loads for ESU, other types of ESU analyzers, and input range. Some of these ESUs are pretty potent. Put it on auto right there, let it do its thing. We can also do RF leakage and REM CQM. So look for this in 2026, guys. Very excited about this one. It's one of the main things I want to talk to you guys about here today, is the fact that this is going to change the game. Between defib automation and ESU automation, this is going to change the game. Promise. Again, safety analyzer, it allows you to do other tests like device current. And maybe you have some motors that you're running and you want to make sure it operates within spec. You can add device current over here. And because of power of Bluetooth, you can have multiple devices doing things at the same time. So maybe my safety analyzer is measuring current while I'm doing RF energy. You can do it. It's wonderful stuff, guys. ECG simulation, run through a bunch of different arrhythmias or something. You can set it up here. Good stuff. Non-invasive blood pressure. We have a whole fleet of NIBPs. Mind you, our NIBPs have integrated batteries, So you just pull it out of the case, you turn it on, you plug it up, and you get going. But because of this automation software, now you know what hose configuration you need for each model of device that you're going to be testing. Again, attach an image of that specific model and what port you're plugging into. Maybe where you put in a T-fitting, you're going to upload those images right here. And you can see I got a variety of images that I use for creating my tests. We have fetal maternal. If you're one of the lucky people that have a 1040, we have fetal maternal and we have cardiac output. Those are very difficult ones for a lot of people to understand. Here we can incorporate it to a process, attach images, again, set your values, and then your technician will have a pass or fail condition. Super easy, guys. Now, one of the things I want you guys to know is we are going very fast over this stuff. I understand that. I want you to know that I'm up for doing Teams meetings for any one of you at any time if you have questions, or maybe you want to experiment and see if this is the right fit for you and your organization. Go ahead and set me up. I will do a Teams meeting, and we are currently handing out 90-day trials. So you can go in and you can play around with this system yourself and maybe experiment with automated testing. It's some cool stuff, guys. Here we have infusion pump analyzers. If you guys have never seen or used our IPA 3100, man, that little guy's a tank. Touchscreen, it works fantastic. But here's something else, guys. IPA 3400, that's our 4-channel infusion analyzer. That's right, we can do automation with 4 channels at a time. Super cool. 3100 is still my favorite, but the 3400, if you're running a depot, that is the model to have. If you have any problems with any of the modules, you can pop it out, ship it out for calibration, and you're not down for the count. Your machine's still up and running as long as you have active modules. And down here, flow analyzer. Look at this. We have TSI certifiers, and that means that we can gather data directly from your TSI. So if you have flow rate, pressure, whatever, you can incorporate that also to your testing procedure. And this is definitely a weird testing procedure. I got temperature, we got RF energy, we got device current, some ECG. That's the variety of tests that you can do with BC Group test equipment, because we are some of the largest providers of a huge library of test equipment. Look at all these values down here that you can get from your TSI certifier. BP, Bmin, those are all volumes. We got pressure, PEEP. Any one of these, we can incorporate it as part of our process. And of course, you set your limits and you're good to go. So guys, I know I'm running a little bit out of time, and I know I talked really fast. I'm sorry, I've had a lot of caffeine today, but I'm so excited about this stuff. And the fact that I'm here and able to show you guys live at the MD Expo, it's fantastic. Now, if you guys have any questions, maybe I can demo it for you right now. Maybe we can get it resolved. Or if you would prefer to do a Teams call some other date and time, I'm up for that too. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, thanks, Justin. We've got a few coming. First one is, does this software allow for videos as well?
Does it allow for video? That's
Yeah,
an interesting question. You know something? I believe up until this moment, we haven't even thought of that. That would be a very cool thing. Now, currently it doesn't. We attach photos. But if there was a video process, we'd have to probably limit it to a certain number of seconds. But I'll take that back to our engineering team, and we might try and work that in. We're going to see. I'm excited about that one. Cool.
Good job. So another question here is, are there any free education video access for how to use the system?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a YouTube channel that guides you through any one of the devices in our fleet. You can go in there. It's, in fact, look up BC Group in YouTube search bar, and you'll see we have a whole bunch of videos. Now, I look at things from a high level. We go into very specific details, like every single feature of any one of these devices. you can go in and see a video on what it can do. So that's pretty cool. They've invested many hours into creating this library for you to guide yourself. And also on the bottom of devices like the SA2600 over here, there's a QR code. You can scan it with your phone and it takes you immediately to the service manual and stuff and extra help for that device. They incorporated QR codes on the device. That's super cool.
Okay, a couple of PM questions here. What happens if a PM procedure needs to change?
Excellent, excellent. Well, so here's the thing. We have different levels of access with My BC Connect. Your average biomed should not and will not be allowed to change the process because that's established by management and senior level technicians, in which all they would have to do is go into the auto sequences. And of course, I already told you guys, you're downloading the test and you're making it yours. You can change it daily if you want. It's live updated on the tablet as they're doing the PM. So if you change your values and somebody goes out 5 minutes later to go and do a PM, it's now got the new values. So it's live. We do it right here from the auto sequences menu. Just go into the edit. And if I want to add an extra step or maybe a warning to my technicians, I add it right here, right from this menu.
Okay, so another question here about PM. How can standardized testing help reduce PM time for portable ultrasound systems?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, portable ultrasounds is kind of a cool one because yes, it's a regulated item and it is an imaging device, but there's a lot of specifics and a lot of details, like cleaning out the let's say the user database or the patient database. Sometimes you have to clean that out on certain devices. Maybe do a continuity check, checking to make sure that it's connecting to the network. That might be one of your tests. Cleaning filters, you can attach a photo of the filter that you want clean, and also maybe you write on the filters a date and time or something that you were the last person there. Whatever your process is, you can incorporate a photo of what that is into your testing procedure, and now it's part of your canon or part of your process. It's super easy to do, and it's at the discretion of you, the manager or the senior level technician.
Perfect. So what plans are there for expanding capabilities of the system?
All right. Well, guys, like I said, 2026 is going to be a very big year for us. We've got the ESU analyzers. They're currently working on that. In fact, I'll tell you something else that we got that they're working on. We have a line of patient simulators. And if you can imagine, automating patient simulators. So if you're doing training or something like that, you can set up certain types of arrhythmias and certain types of waveforms, and it will automatically go through those. So patient simulators are going to be automated in 2026, actually maybe the end of 2025. But ESU analyzer is going to be automated, and we are constantly working to improve some of the other devices. As far as cross-system compatibility, we do have the ability to add custom tests. You can type in any result you want, and you can add any type of annotation that you want in your testing process. It might not be automated, but you'll at least have it there in your documentation. It's going to be up to you.
Okay, we've got time for about one more question, Justin. Is there an option to set different profiles for the same test? Some biomeds like to do extra functional tests after a PM is completed.
That is a really good one. Okay, so one of the things that we're experimenting with as a company, let me share this with you guys. That's such a good test because some devices also have annual PMs and semi-annual PMs, or maybe a monthly checkup, and then you have a full 12-month PM. And let me show you guys that right here. Let's go into assets. Let's edit. How about the flow meter demo right there? Okay, so this is my asset menu, and just to show you, this is all your vital data. But you see right here how we have a default auto sequence? We're looking to add up to 2 or 3 other sequences under there. So maybe you have a daily check when you do your sweeps, or because if you have like generators or something like that, you have substandard intervals. So instead of being an annual PM, maybe it's monthly, maybe it's a weekly stop by and check. But you're going to see that right here. And again, this isn't my profile. This is a demo profile. In mine, I have it right here underneath default auto sequence because we're still experimenting. It's some cool stuff, guys. But yeah, we're looking to add other auto sequences to that device. So when you scan that barcode on that device, you select what level of automated sequence you want. So if you have like annual PM or monthly PM, you will select it at that time when you scan the barcode. Cool stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for your time and for such a great presentation. I'd just like to say congratulations, Justin, for being one of the finalists for Influencer of the Year in our annual Tech Choice Awards. Now, TechNation is honoured to be part of these awards, that they are 100% nominated by and voted by the HTM industry. Voting is open online through January the 9th, 2026, so please visit onetechnation.com/Tech Choice Awards to vote for all categories. And the winners will be announced in the March issue of TechNation. Now, if you'd like more information about today's presentation and sponsor, please visit bcgroupstore.com. As promised, the answer to today's trivia question is purple, so congratulations to our winner, Brandon Hostetter in Virginia.
Cool.
Quick reminder, you can obtain your C certificate by completing the post-webinar survey, which will be emailed 1 hour after the completion of today's webinar. You must complete the survey to receive your 1C credit from the ACI, and you'll be able to download the certificate directly from your computer once the survey is submitted. If you have any questions, you can reach us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Now, if you've missed any of our past webinars, including any by BC Group, please visit webinarwednesday.live to view our whole webinar archive. We'll be back next week with another webinar, so visit webinarwednesday.live for more details and, of course, complimentary registration. So thank you once again, Justin, for your time today, and everyone for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.